Hi and welcome to my PlayHouse. And today, this shirt is not gonna cut it. Looks like I've been drooling all over it. Just a second. Better. Just yesterday, for me, I visited Nordic Computers because I had my back of the car full of old hard drives, and we had a good talk about how do you get rid of your data on drives like that, reuse the drives, or if the drive is just gonna be demolished, or if it's just gonna be swiped. They had different methods of that. They really want to reuse the drive because then the drive is worth money for them. So if you deliver some systems to a place like that and tell them that they have to destroy the hard drives, well, it's gonna be an expense for them, and they're gonna give you the expense. So yeah, but I traded those hard drives for a lot of nice things, and I thought that we should just have a look at those nice things today that I got from Nordic Computers from, well, trading the hard drives. I have no idea if they're gonna be using those hard drives for anything, or if they just enjoyed me coming by and making a video with them. So let's see what's on the table. So first I got a couple of laptops. These are Dell laptops. They're some years old, but it turns out they're really powerful laptops. We'll get into that. Then I got a couple of small workstations, which is definitely not a workstation. It's like a client machine that you could have on your desk, and they would connect to a server, and the server will kind of have the operating system. More or less, they would be able to run remote desktop very efficiently to a server. Then we got a cable. This is probably for 40 gigabit Ethernet uplink. I just got that because it was there, and I thought, well, I might need that. I do have quite a few cables like this. I was not sure that I had one exactly like this. Then we have the last little piece here, which is probably gonna get its own video at some point. It's a Anywhere USB 4/14, and this unit is used for putting in your rack. You can see the rack mounts here, and you put that in the rack and you configure it, and then you put in a USB whatever, and you can, with some software on a virtual machine or a physical machine, you can map to each of these 14 USB ports up here. And this is really helpful if you have a virtual machine that runs some software that has a license key that is delivered on a USB stick. So that will help you virtualize machines that would otherwise need a USB stick. In very small environments, you would just take that USB stick and put it in the back of the host that is running this software, and you would forward this. But in a little bit bigger environment where safety is more of a concern, you would want to have this virtual machine to be able to move from one host to another host, and then you need a centralized place to have your license key. Of course, this is still a point of failure if it loses connection to the USB anywhere thing here, anywhere USB, I said that wrong. It would still fail, but at least the machine can move around and then kind of have access to this. But I do believe that I'm gonna be making a separate video on this box. It's kind of awesome. I know it from work. We have these at work, and I am the lucky guy that gets to configure those. But let's start with the laptops, shall we? Okay, so these are a couple of years, some years old. This is the Latitude E6530, and over here is the Latitude E6540. So this one is newer than this one. I didn't know what to expect when he said that he had some laptops. I just thought, okay, I will have a good test laptop, but it turns out they're really nicely spec'd. I'll just go into that and we'll see that. If we start with the older one of the two, we can see that this comes with it has an i7 3740QM CPU. This is, as it is an i7, it's a 4-core CPU with hyperthreading, and then the machine has 16 gigabytes of RAM. Ka-ching! So really good CPU and good RAM in there. And we will go and see how fast this CPU is in just a little bit. The other one has a newer CPU, a newer generation of CPU. This is the i7 4810MQ, and this is a 2.8 gigahertz, and it's turbo for it's well over 3 gigahertz. This one only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, so I see myself in the future moving some RAM from this machine and over to this machine, because this CPU is the fastest. This one has the most RAM. So I looked up the CPUs, of course, because all these PC numbers, they don't say me much. So the older one is this one, and is the older one. It had a value of $239.95 US at some point. It has a socket, but it does 8,341 in benchmark, which is not bad. I have this CPU at home. This is my everyday editing computer. Well, I actually edit on my servers, but this is the machine that I usually use, and it's just below that one. Is a really good CPU. I've had it for a long time. This is 8 years old now, but it still does 8,455 benchmark points. It's quick, it's good, thank you. This laptop does just a little bit worse than that. But it's not much. It's like 100 points, so not much. The newer laptop, that does even better. That does 200 points better than my home machine here, and so that's a really powerful CPU for a laptop. It goes up to 3.8 gigahertz in turbo speed, which is the same as my home CPU. It goes further down when it's not doing anything, when it's just regular work. It works on a normal 2.8 gigahertz. My home thing a little bit higher than that. Same number of cores and logical processors on all of them. The wattage though, this one uses 95 watts, 4745. So really good CPUs in those laptops. The laptops did not have a hard drive in them when I got them, so I put in the most scruffy looking piece of junk that I had laying around. So the points here that Windows gives them, well, it's the hard drive dragging it down into the dirt. This one is it wanna update. I have told it to do some Windows updates, and yeah, we could just restart that. I'm not gonna need it for a little bit. Over here we can see that this one scores a 1, and I'm pretty sure that's the hard drive. Oh, it's because it hasn't checked now. Guess it will have to check. Okay, I kind of made a video on swapping out the memory in these two laptops now, so that video will be coming after this video at some point, and it's more meant for people who has never played with laptops before, so that's another thing. But two awesome laptops here and two really good CPUs. Hard drives, crap, I need some SSDs for that. I just had both of them open, and they don't really, I couldn't find a slot for an NVMe drive in there, which is a bloody shame. They're really cool. One of them, the one I'm kind of keeping. I don't know if I have a swap places. Well, probably not. I'm probably keeping this one for myself, and I'm gonna find someone that I can make very happy with the other one. This one has a Danish keyboard. This one has something else. I'm not sure what that is. It's missing the Danish letters, so I'm keeping this one, which is also the best one. Now it has the good CPU and 16 gigabytes of memory. Then we have these two things called, it's a Prime, P-R-A-I-M, Prime? I have no idea, but a little standalone unit that connects with a very tiny operating system to a server. So you can, from something like Citrix or some other VDI solution, connect from this box, which is connected to, this one has a couple of screens. different USB ports. It has a network connection, of course, and it has a power plug, 12 volt. You could run this off a car battery, but I thought that we should just take this apart and have a look inside. So let's do that. I got a couple with stands. There was a lot of them that did not have this stand thing, so that they could stand upright. So you could just have them laying like that, and it would look like a tiny PC. Well, it still looks like a tiny PC. But there are some screws to get into this box, and I have cheated. So I found out that I only need. There's a lot of screws. There are 4 in the bottom. There's 4 here. There's another 4 here. There are none on the front. So I found out that I only have to take the top ones to get in and have a look at that. So we are gonna take out the top screws here. So instead of 12 screws, I can take out 6 screws. Oh, easy. There, and then this cover pops off, like so. Oh, like, come on. I said like so. Cool. Put that away. Then there's a little metal cover in here. There's 4 screws to get past that. Very well protected, these are. I had one of these open yesterday, and it was a real drag to get this metal cover to fit on there again. I hope I'm gonna be able to do that. There. And inside here we have kind of a tiny PC. It has a little block of memory there, 2 gigabytes of memory it has. Then it has a CPU down there, which is not really easy to dismount. I would have loved to see what CPU is in this. I will probably have to connect it to something to do that, but otherwise there's a system board, PCI slot here, another PCI slot here, a smaller one, and then there is a storage unit here as well. Just this print that is put on top of the system board. And this is, funny enough, this is a king spec 4 gigabyte storage unit right there. So it can hold a tiny little operating system, 4 gigabytes. So probably enough to do some VDI solution. There is also a connection for a hard drive. And here is something that looks like it could do a small SSD. It could also be for a wireless mini card, but it might be able to do both. So 4 gigabytes storage solution there. That's never seen one of these before. I've heard about them, so we're gonna pop that back in. SLC, awesome. Otherwise, I have no idea why they put a printer connection on here and 2 serial connections. Waste of space, if you ask me. 2 DVI connections for 2 screens, awesome. 2 USB connections, 2 USB 3 connections. I think they're blue, they should be 3 then. And there's an older PS2 keyboard connector right there. In the front, we have power on and off, cool. Hard drive LED, network LED. We have a microphone port in. We have a loudspeaker port out and a couple of USB 2 connections. There's a slot here for, you can put in some kind of a card reader here, but it's not available right there. So in this unit, so that's what we have. Have to connect this at some point and see what it can do. So all the screws are back in this. It's a real drag to take apart and put back together. It takes some while. The best deal I did at Nordic Computer together with Thomas was probably this USB virtualization thing here, with the 14 ports that you can connect your virtual machines to, and you can move your virtual machines around between your different hosts, and they will still have access to their USB stick. I don't really think that I need it myself, but it's gonna, I think a lot of you guys will enjoy that video. If you don't know this solution already, probably a lot of you do, but to those who don't, I will definitely do a video on this because it works pretty well. It even has 2 LAN connections, so redundant solution, and 2 power connectors. So it's still single point of failure, but well, they have done what they could to make this good for a professional data center. So very nice. The laptop, it's an awesome laptop. I do have a really good Lenovo laptop, which I love a lot. I'm a bit worried about how that laptop CPU compares with this one, because this one is a beast. I don't remember me having that good a CPU in my laptop. Yikes! I just checked. My Lenovo laptop has a CPU. This is the Intel Core i5 5200U, and it scores 3491 compared to those 8600 something. I'm in trouble. I really love this laptop, but that Dell is so much quicker and the socket is not the same. I would not be able to replace it. Oh, what do I do? Dell? Well, this is a work laptop. I guess I could have a private laptop as well. So, yikes. Trouble. I'm in trouble. I did not expect that laptop to be that good. And 16 gigs of RAM. Oh, it's that one. 16 gigs of RAM it has now. That's double the Lenovo one. So I'm in trouble. I have to figure that out. So, but thank you very much to Nordic Computers for being a good host again, and Thomas for showing me around, telling me about how they make sure that no data is on the drives, either destroying the disk or making a safe format of it. That was really awesome. And trading my old crappy hard drives for, well, usable toys. Very usable toys indeed. So thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.